Here at Mowers and Blowers, we push them into the garage, but they come out driving.
Hey everybody, good morning. It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Very windy last night, and today it's overcast skies. It might rain all day. So look, as you know, I have episodes every day because I've got tons of stuff to do. There's always something to do, and this part of the month, there's no exception. I've got so many machines to fix that I'm so overwhelmed. A while back, I was just overwhelmed by the amount of tractors that I needed to fix. But actually, I only have one, the Franken tractor Nightmare, which is going to take a long time, so I'm not going to rush things. I'm going to take step by step, little bits at a time, just to get it going. However, things happen where unfortunate things happen that will delay my progress on the next project. Number one, I've got a ton of engines I just got to get rid of because my garage, I can't even walk in there, which is why I'm on the side of the house. I wanted to show you guys something. Today, before I do anything else, right, I got to power wash my deck. Just one half of it. Why? Because yesterday when I came home from Bobby and Larry's house, right, my wife was saying, oh my God, and I'm like, I know, I spent a little longer than I thought I was. She goes, no, not that. Look on the deck. So I go on the deck. We have our patio table with chairs and the umbrella, you know what I'm saying? We've had it since we moved in here, 18 years, okay? And then she bought a new umbrella because the umbrellas don't last, you know? It's probably our 6th or 8th umbrella in 18 years, right? So it was a cheapo kind, you know? And it didn't sit on the base very well, right? So last night with all the heavy winds, right? They forgot to put the umbrella to, you know, while extended, they forgot to retract the umbrella. So as a result, the heavy winds blew the umbrella sideways. And what happens when it blows it sideways and it's not on the base correctly? That's right. The stress of the pole of the umbrella going through the glass round thing, right, through the table, went like that. And then what happened? That's right, the tempered glass shattered into literally 10 million pieces. So while it took a while to clean up the mess, right, we're out there on the deck with our bare feet all the time, the whole family, including the dog, you know? So there's a lot of glass shards in the seams of the composite deck that I built, right? So there's gaps in between the wood, of course, that go underneath the deck. So there's dusty glass. You know what I mean? When it shatters so violently, there's like glass dust all over the place. And you know, if you step on that or get it in your feet or something like that, you'll never get it out because it's dust, you know? So just to make sure that it's clean for our feet to go on there again, I'm gonna try that power washer I found on the street the other day. You know, the more newer one. It was a 2015 model. That gives me an opportunity to try it and see if it works, you know. Then, while I have it all out, I've got 3 other power washers. I think 1 or 2 of them start, so I'm going to try to hook those up and see if they work, or at least see if the pumps work, you know. Also, tomorrow's garbage day, so I want to go through these engines over here and see if I can put one together. In addition, most importantly, I have about 5 lawnmower engines that I absolutely have to partially strip. When I mean partially strip, I'm just going to take the flywheels off, valve covers, maybe the heads, the muffler, throttle brackets, engine covers, recoil starters, those kind of things that I could actually use. But the internal parts of the engine, I'm not going to keep. I'm just going to chuck them. I have 5 of them. I have to do that today or I'll never do it, you know? And then, if we have time, I'll work on a part of the Franken tractor Nightmare. As you know, yesterday at Bobby and Larry's house, I picked up bearings, shafts, and a belt. So maybe we can get the spindles together today on the mower deck. But right now, I'm going to whip out that power washer and we're going to hook it up and see if it works. As you know, I picked this up from a tip from Frank, the UPS guy. It's a Craftsman 550E. I pull started this to run. So I'm not sure about the primer bulb because I remember I had to blow some go-go juice into the carb to get it to start. And then it did run once it started. So I'm not sure if the primer works. Let's try it real quick right now. Primer bulb feels okay. Switch is on. Cool. So it works. We're just going to have to find out whether or not the pump works. But maybe I won't need a power washer. Maybe Mother Nature will clean out the deck. I think my buddy Mondo at Mondo Mowers wants to do another trade. Unfortunately, I told him I didn't really have any more tractors because I was sold out, right? I only have the Scott's hauler and the LTS 1500 left to sell. He wanted to trade 2 not working tractors for the LTS 1500. I'm like, what are you, crazy? Why would I trade a Cadillac for 2 Kias? Anyway, we're trying to work out another deal. Mondo, if you're watching, I do have other things to trade to. Snowblower, Karcher power washer with a working engine, missing a carburetor. There's another power washer over there, don't know if it works. Another power washer over there, I think it starts. And there's an International Harvester Lawn Boy 2-stroke engine, which a lot of people are telling me is worth a lot of money if I could get it running. And worth a lot of money even if I didn't get it running. Some guy told me that somebody sold this exact thing not running for $350 on eBay. I'm like, get the hell out of here. So, I just hooked up the hose, see? And obviously the reason why they threw it out was because the pump is broken. Look. It sprung a leak, see? I'm gonna pump you full of lead, see? By the way, when I always say see, that's from Edward G. Robinson, the guy with the cigar. Anyway, looks like that thing is cracked over here on the shaft, you know? I don't really know too much about power washers, so I don't think I can fix this. Delay that order. I was just messing with it a little bit, tighten the valve a little bit, and stop leaking. So, I guess we could try it now because it's not leaking. And no water's coming out of my gun. Well, a little bit, but maybe it was just this tip that was clogged. I'm gonna try another tip. Come on, man. This tip is stuck in the hole. The hell? Can't even get the tip out. Holy cow, it's really in there. I'm gonna have to use this black one just to see. Can't get the tip out. That's terrible. You know what? At least it's not clogged like the other one, right? So let me start it up and see what happens. Here we go. Let's see. The hell? Now it won't start. see if it works. It does not work. All right, so when the pump is on, it blows again. You know, usually there's a bunch of O-rings in there that are probably gone, you know, and it's a relatively easy fix. I mean, maybe I'll try to take the bottom apart and see if there's just a couple of bad O-rings in there, replace the O-rings and it should be good. Maybe. I'm gonna get another power washer out and see if it works. So I whipped this one out, right? And this engine won't start. It has one of these Pulsajet type things and it doesn't prime. So carburetor is probably really dirty and it won't even prime, you know what I'm saying? So I would have to take this apart and clean the carburetor and see if the engine runs for me to find out if the pump works. This one I think runs. So you know what? I'm gonna go put some more gas in here and we'll hook up the hose and see if this works. Maybe at the very least, I could take a good pump and a good engine and make one out of the three, you know? So I just put gas in here. And yes, I checked the oil. I've got water going on. It's connected to the gun that I got from the other thing. Let's see if it works. I shut it off, not only because it doesn't work, right? But because it was revving so crazy high that I feel that it was gonna blow. You know what I'm saying? That's what you felt too, right? There is some air, but not enough to feel any pressure. You know what I mean? So, this one's Dunsky too. I didn't wake up today to mess with two power washers, so I'm gonna. So I'm gonna take my good one, I'm gonna power wash my deck and get down to business. These power washers, it's not worth the trouble, honestly. This is my own personal one, always works. Until I say the words, always works. Then I jinx it, and it doesn't work. There we go. So I finished with the power washing. You know how power washing goes, right? You take it out to try to accomplish one task. But then you think to yourself, well, I got it out already. You end up washing like the entire thing. I've got like the cleanest gas can ever. From Larry's house. Several bearings, tops and bottoms. Good shafts. Good shafts with the bolt and a good star. The ones I have are all stripped. Of course, they gave me this. They gave me this angle grinder too. Not angle grinder. This bench grinder. Couple push rods, the aluminum and the steel. Remember, the aluminum one goes in the intake. Steel one goes in the exhaust. And deck belt for my Franken-Tractor Nightmare. I brought the old one with me to match. They're identical! Identical. Okay, so look, I'm not gonna be distracted. I'm gonna get this done. I've been wanting to do this for like a week. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lawnmower, push mower engines. I'm not gonna fix any of them. I'm just going to strip it of its vital parts that I can sell on eBay, and then I'm going to chuck it. Tomorrow's garbage day, so I have to get this done now. Shouldn't take me too long. After that, I'm going to survey what I have here in terms of 17.5, 18.5, and 20.5 single-cylinder Briggs engines. I've got like 5. So out of the 5, you would think I could put together 1, right? Problem is, all 5 have blown connecting rods and or synchro balancers. I think I might be able to salvage 1 balancer and a link from another 2. You know, the links that hold the balancer onto the engine. Between the sumps and the blocks, I should be able to put together 1. But like I said, synchro balancer and connecting rods are all blown on all of them. However, I do have a connecting rod from a 17.5 that I got a while back. This was taken out of the 20 horsepower Smoky engine that Nick from Medford gave me. This is the piston from the Smoky engine. But remember, I bought a connecting rod and piston off of eBay that worked great and it didn't smoke anymore. So I know that this piston smokes, but the connecting rod, that has nothing to do with the smoke, right? So I know the connecting rod will work. So if I took one of the pistons off the stock block, it should be good. And I'll connect it onto this connecting rod. Then find a synchro balancer mix with the links. Try to figure out how it goes together because it can be tricky. You can put it in backwards, which is no good. And then maybe I can build 1 engine out of these 5. Then I'll put this engine, if it runs, on that. That thing, the height adjustment lever, you know, from up to all the way down, it's missing the teeth. And so I was in my shed and I found this side plate here that has the teeth, right? So I thought that the teeth plate you could just take off and mount it on. But actually it's welded on, you know, from the factory, right? Looks like these 3 holes here, they're tack welded. So it fell off of that one. So I think in the interim, I'll try to replace this panel with that panel, but not today. I'm just saying, like I said, the Franken-Tractor Nightmare, that's exactly what it is, bros. It's a nightmare.
Oh my God, what a fucking nightmare!
So I've been really busy. These are 5 engine blocks that I've stripped of its magnetos, flywheels, mufflers, muffler guards, intake manifolds, throttle brackets, springs, linkages, nuts, bolts. The 3/8 bolts are very useful, as well as the 5/16. And everything here is gone, including those staple pneumatic air guns that Nick gave me. I posted them for like 20 bucks and haven't had one bite, so I guess nobody wants them. So it's going out. I took a picture of this stuff for Craigslist, see if the scrappers want it before garbage day tomorrow. And of course my table is going away. I also went through those crates of engine parts, and I've surmised that out of these 5 17.5, 18.5, and 20.5 engines, right? The two middle ones here, I think they're both 20s, right? Or one might be 17 because the piston in this one is smaller than this one. This one's a big piston, so I think this one's a 20.5. I think I'm going to use 20.5 because that's the least damage. Actually, I don't see any damage at all. And the two pistons are in there. I'm going to dump some gas in here, right, and soak them for a night because I want the rings to be nice and loose. And because of carbon buildup, they don't easily, you know, spin. You know what I mean? When you grab the rings, you can turn them. You could feel like there's something in between it, like carbon. So I want to soak it out there so they move freely, you know. If the rings are stuck in a little bit more, oil will get through the rings and it'll smoke. So those are reasons why sometimes rings are no good. Out of all these, there are a couple of sumps that are good, including this one. That's a good sump gas. That's a good sump, so I'm going to use that sump, probably that block. That 20 piston. I have a connecting rod somewhere, right there. It ought to fit. I'm going to try at least, right? This one also has a starter and a magneto and a stator on there already, so that should be good to go. I've got rods. I mean, I think I could put this together. The only thing I'm missing is a synchro balancer, which all of them went bad. I only have one synchro balancer that's intact, and that's that one. However, the journal on the crankshaft is bad. So I'm gonna get a crankshaft. There are 3 here. One's in better shape than the others. I believe this one, because as you can see, this part is still smooth. It only is damaged on the other part. These are damaged all around, you know, so which means to tell me that this is damaged the least if you can still see the smooth part. Those links to the synchro balancer, as you can see, like this one, it's bent. So you can't use that one, that's bent. And if this is bent with the naked eye, you can't tell from this, but if this is bent, that's probably bent too. I think I have another crankshaft somewhere. I'm going to try to match it up and see if it's exactly the same. And then I'll put that synchro balancer on the crankshaft that I have and try to install it. I also have 2 or 3 camshafts that are good, with good ACRs, compression release levers. I pretty much have parts to put together at least one engine. So when I'm done with the deck, I'm going to work on putting that engine together. That'll be fun. In the meantime, I'm assembling the spindles now with the new shafts that Larry and Bobby gave me, with the new bearings that Larry and Bobby gave me, and with some new blades, or good blades, that Larry and Bobby gave me. So hopefully I'll be able to get this deck together today. And I'm going to take the spare parts that I took off those 5 little push mower engines and bring them to the back. I put the spindle shaft back on, along with the blades along with the bolt that puts the blades on here. On the other side, I actually noticed that my pulleys, they're splined, right? One of them was completely stripped into roundness. So I went to the back shed where I have my bin of parts and actually found 2 good pulleys with the splines nice and sharp and crisp. So I replaced that. Remember when you put on the pulleys, there's a washer that goes in first. The washer spaces the amount of clearance between the top of the shaft, then the pulley, and then the big nut that goes on top of the pulley. Because I had put it on without the washer first, and once I tightened it down, torqued it down, the nut, this thing wouldn't spin anymore. So that washer is key. I sharpened these blades on my new bench grinder that I got from Bobby and Larry. Thank you very much. I need to find a place to mount that thing. I sprayed some of the red and tacky spray grease into the shaft along with the bearings. I actually removed, so in the bearings, right, you have the sealed bearings, which is, they're both sealed by this black plastic sheathing, right? So you remove the inner part of it. Like the top one, you would remove the bottom sheathing. For the bottom bearing, you would remove the top sheathing so that the grease inside the shaft, right, will be able to contact the bearings. So I shot some of that red and tacky spray grease from my friends over at Lucas Soil Products. Look at this. Sharp blades, very sharp, right? These shafts had a crisp star, 5-star. Look at this one. So I think I have the mower deck all figured out. We have a deck belt now. And so when I'm ready to attach this thing on here, we're good to go. One of my subscribers, Rick Browerman, I believe it was him, he asked me,
Hey Henry, how do you bend the front part of your tractor? Because I can't bend it with my hands.
well, of course you can't bend it with your hands. This is heavy gauge steel. So I was telling him that you should use an adjustable wrench, right? Like that. The longer the better. And you kind of gauge how thick the steel is, right? So it's about like that. You just put it there, right? And now you can bend it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, he asked me how. I'm showing you how. I also found this heat shield in the back. I believe that goes like that. Something like that. I'll put it on when I'm ready. I still need to find a muffler. This is the bench grinder that Bob and Larry gave me. You see, those guys are nice guys, man. They didn't have to give it to me. They could have had 3 of them if they wanted. But no, they figured Henry needs it, so let's give it to Henry. Nice guys. I don't know how this works, though. I never had a bench grinder before. This is my first one. I guess this deflects stuff that gets in your eye or something. Anyway, I have to figure out a place to mount this. I don't really know where to mount it, you know. That's right. Another busy day over here at Mowers and Blowers. Every day I'm busy. I've got plenty to do. Every hour of the day. To be honest with you fellas, it's kind of exhausting. Like, I'd like to just lie in my bed and watch like an entire season of The Last Kingdom, which, by the way, I still haven't finished yet. I did a lot today. I tried out 3 out of 4 of my power washers, of which 3 out of 4 don't work, right? So the 4th one, my personal one, worked great, as usual, because I maintain it. And we power washed my deck a little bit to get the glass dust and shards off there so that we can walk around in our bare piggies. Because my deck patio table shattered into 10 million pieces of glass. That was not fun to clean up. We ascertained that we can indeed probably build one engine out of those 5 with plenty of parts to spare. I took apart 5 push mower engines, which I didn't want, and I feel much better. They're on the curb along with my patio table. We put the new shafts into the old spindles with newer pulleys, with new bearings. We greased them, we sharpened the blades, and we have a deck belt too. Yeah. That's about it. I've just about had enough for the day. It's gonna pour, thunderstorm, which is good because our lawn needs it. But thanks a lot for following me along today's adventure. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.